You got the Kingpin adjustment there. It says free play of 0.1 mil up and down, so you change the shims so that it's set at 0.1 mil. The wide angle shaft must take out the difference from the output to the input there. Now you got the Kingpin bushes cleaned up and cleaned out. You can see there's a little bit of scoring in them around there. Must have been in its early life when it didn't get grease. Probably didn't get much grease in the first 9,000 hours, to be honest with you. The state this tractor was in when I bought it. The seal still tight, it nearly holds the Kingpin up. Seal still works, and there's no slap backwards and forwards in the bush in any direction, so that bush has still got pretty good life left in it. Keep greasing it, should last me another 20,000 hours. I'll have to do the UJ by then anyway. So yep, put the knuckle on. Before I get on to that, I'll just clean up and check that we got an equal amount of shims here. I got a pack of new shims, so I'll build these up plus one of them or whatever to the same thickness as whichever one of these is the thickest setting, but I'll have to clean them up first before doing that because they got dirt on them. They won't be to a correct measurement with dirt in them. I can't find my mechanical calipers. I think I took it back to my dad and I wouldn't have it then. So I've cleaned these pretty much, all of them each side, to get them pretty much what they're supposed to be. Should nearly squeeze them in the vise. Thing's already gone off -5. So 2.17, 2.07 mil. And this other pack, which is a partner of that one, so you can change the shims without taking the Kingpin out. So it comes in 2 halves, like and take them all out if you want, if the Kingpin's knackered. Take them all out. Tighten the bolts up as tight as they'll go then. But you'll have to redo the holes in the axle for the bushes and everything then. You got a big problem. It's much better to fix your Kingpin bushes now. So that one comes to 1.98. So this one is 1/10 of a mil thicker. So that one's got a shim missing in it, I would imagine. Oh no. These ones are just dirty, more dirt in the middle here. That one went to 1.98 there as well, on the end here. Just over 2 there. Depends where the calipers are. Yeah, 1.99. So they're pretty close. These shims go on the bottom Kingpin, or they were on the bottom Kingpin, and I took them off, so the whacker's on now. We'll grease in there to pre-grease the Kingpins. To be really careful not to damage the front of this thread. I can't say that enough times, that it's quite a soft metal, so if you put them on something like that, I usually put them on a piece of wood or something. I thought I'd put that on the other side. Idiot. I've noticed fucking with the camera all the time, you tend to make more mistakes. Wiggle the shaft into place again. I could see the Kingpin shim marks on the housing when I put it in the first time around. And I thought, oh, must have had shims on the top sometime in his life. But it didn't make much sense. Usually if it doesn't make sense, it's wrong, anyway. I seem to have lost one of these bolts. I found this one in the shed. She's about 5mm longer than these ones, but I won't put the... I don't have a spring washer to put on it anyway, so it should be alright. It'll be the same height. I'll put some thread lock on them so they should stay in place, and I've blown the holes out clean. Bring the shims back on. These shims may be something you'd think, just throw them to one side and you lose one or whatever, it doesn't matter, but having the Kingpins shimmed correctly is probably as important as anything. It keeps the whole thing nice and firm. It stops them playing around. It stops. I'll just quickly show you how to check for the wear in the Kingpin. So I got a DTI there on top of that. I don't have short enough bolts to clamp the top Kingpin in place without having the bracket on. So otherwise you could put the DTI on the axle whatever to get this horse here and the piece of box section, and then the thing on there, the tester. I've had to take the axle stand out because I was lifting the tractor up, so I wanted to drop it down so there was more pressure in that tyre there to hold against me. Yeah, the thing, well, it's supposed to be on 0. You fiddle with the changes. Yeah, it's dropping down again. The stand itself doesn't hold perfectly stiff for it. There you go, like that, then you leave it up, and it's supposed to only have that much in it. It's not dropping down all the way. It's dropping down quite a lot, isn't it? The grease is affecting it. It's probably the grease pushing it up and down there. So the bottom there, really, where the 70 was, should be the 0. So I got it wedged pretty good now. Nearly impossible to get this on 0. I've just hammered that in there just to stop the axle pivoting up, because I was lifting up, I was moving the tractor over as well, so completely inaccurate reading. But we did have a little bit of left to right movement. Look, you can see the gauge moving because the pins are slack. She's moving left to right as well. So we got the tester, so it's nearly in the same line as the centre line from pin to pin. From there you need the line to be exactly like that, and then lift it up and down. Try and lift it up and down in the same line as well. Or it'll be lifting up and down in a completely different user. It's moving the tractor from a certain point, so 0 there, and that's about how much we have. I'm starting to lift the tractor when I get to there. So, yeah, there's about 0.6 mil of slap in it. And she's dropping nearly to the 0. So, 0.6. According to the Carraro one, it was 0.1. So it would be from there to there was how much is supposed to be in them. From 0 to 10. It'll go past 0 a little because with me putting my hand there, because the pin does that as well a little bit, because well, they're 1.6 pin on the bush, which isn't bad at all really, but I can now take shims out to the bottom to tighten it up. So I can take, I don't know, 0.5 mil out. So I just slacken these about halfway in, can drop the Kingpin down a little bit like that, and take the shims out. To get all the shims out. Don't confuse the shim packs. It's the far one. These ones are the close one here, which I got in my left hand. So they're the same one, pretty much. Really, with old shims, you want to put them on the same side as they were as well. Like, if those ones I put on top of them were behind them before, you want to put them behind again, because they'll have little lines of dirt and stuff them that'll match up. I might be able to get the right size shims from the new shim pack, but I think the new shim pack are all the same size shims. They're not a mix of different sizes for some reason. So we know that these are pretty much bang on 2 mil, 1.98 or so. I'll try and get one that's 1.5 mil. So that complete pack is 1.28 mil, which isn't enough. So I'll take out 0.5 mil out of the old ones. Sure, it goes to 0, pretty much 1.97. I just have to see where 0.5 mil is. So it's pretty much 0.6. I squeeze them, it goes to 5.1, 5.2, but there's 2 of them there. I could try it with them 2 out. You wouldn't have any play in it at all then though. Get 2 out of this one now. I'll leave that one in, I'll take the top 2. This one feels like one thin one and one thick one. .78, I'll take the thin one off. .56, 55. Oh, well, 4.7 is at the end there before I cut out. 0. .3 something, 0.4. What's this one? 0.2. So both of them are supposed to be 0.6. It'll be the same as what I took out the other one. Oh, bloody rubbish. Yeah, 0.5, 3. They spring back out, so that one's 0.5. Just double check that I got the right ones off. Yeah. So these should be 0.4 now, 1.4. Seem to be 1.1. It's because there's dirt and stuff between them still. So it's difficult to get a... What the hell does that mean? 0. I hate these electronic ones. So that one said 1.5 before it cut off then. Come on. So yeah, 1.44, 1.45 or so. So that pack's pretty good. And this one's 1.25 or so. So you can get a 0.25 on here. 0.2, be pretty close. And go 1.4. Oh yeah, 1.4 pretty much. Let me squeeze it. Pretty close. They're within about 0.2 mil. The ton of springiness and the shim effects. Now those new shims would be much easier to measure than these old ones. I haven't got enough in the new ones to make one, so these old ones are right. Slip the shims in. I think that's how they were as well. Try and sit them together pretty good. Make sure they're all seated, square and flat. And check that they're not overlapping. You don't want them overlapping. And the where they meet, if they overlap, there'll be the thickness of the overlap out. So you just want a little gap between them, but they're not big enough quite to overlap, I don't think. Anyway, but one could be crooked and overlap. It's nearly impossible to get an accurate reading with this setup. You know, I touch the horse here, the needle moves, the arm moves a little bit when you lift it up. So you've got about 0.2, 0.3 mil of play without anything moving. We got it on 0 there now. She's running in the same axis as the pin to pin. And put that on top of the block of wood there, so I'm levering pretty much as straight up as I can. And then lever it up. So we've still got 0.3, but well, it's gone 5 off there now, so I'll take 5 out. About there, I'm at the point of moving the tractor, so thereabouts. Yeah, the tractor starts moving about there. Sorry, holding the camera in a stupid place. So we about 500ths of a mil we start, and then yeah, about 30, so quarter of a mil up and down as she's got now. Probably also a little bit of left to right movement in that as well, because I'm not able to push it bang on square up and not have the tractor and everything move left to right. It's, the fact that I put grease in the Kingpins has made it a little bit difficult, but that's pretty close to 1/4 mil there. It said 0.1 for the Carraro axle. I could take another 20 out, but it's close enough. It's about twice as good as it was before I done it. I'll just leave it at that. If you have people coming to do a job for you and they're doing a hub like this, and they're in the middle of a field or something, and they're fixing it in the field, don't say to them that they need to do this and this, that and the other, because they got a hard, difficult job to do in the first place, and they've not got a steam cleaner with them to clean the parts and everything. They got rags and bits of tools and this and that. They're there to get you going, not to do a full restoration. Don't give them stick for not doing all that kind of stuff. That Kingpin is really tight now after doing that, so I don't know, is it too tight? I'm not liking how tight that is, to be honest. It might well have to be tight when it's new. I don't know how tight they are when they're new. I wasn't at all happy with how tight that was turning around. It was binding. Maybe the New Holland axle's got a different setting for some reason than the Carraro one. The 0.1 mil is 0.1 mil, but because they're old Kingpins, the shoulders on the Kingpins might be 1, but the tip isn't, so it might be going in and jamming because the shape of it's changed a little bit, so I don't know. 0.1 is still 0.1. Anyway, I've got another 0.1 shim to put in each side, which would be enough to shim it out. Let's check that it's sitting on the top all the way around. So you just drop the Kingpin down, you see the Kingpins come down, and you tighten the bolts back up and it goes back up. Maybe they are supposed to be as tight as it was then. I've never put a brand new one together to feel how a new one feels. I had a new one with the wheel off and the rams off to feel them, to feel how tight they are. I bet they are pretty tight to turn, but I wasn't happy with it being that tight. She'd need a lot of grease all the time. There's not much room for grease to move around. They wear faster when they're tight. When they slap off a little bit, they wear slower because there's a bit less binding going on. I put the 0.1 mil shims in, and feels a bit better like that. It's not that heavy to turn now. I don't reckon they're supposed to be at all heavy to turn, but I'd like it to be a little bit lighter than that as well, to be honest. I might put another one in. So I put another couple 0.1 mil ones on top of the 0.1 mil ones I just put in. It's still only just a bit tight. I'm going to take the 0.1 mil ones I put in out and put a couple of 0.15 mil ones in place and see how it is. So I put another 0.05 mil in and tighten them up. I can move it with my fingers now, which is a nicer setting. I prefer to do them with feel really than the DTI thing. That DTI idea is a little bit all over the shop. You should have the DTI on there and have the shorter bolts in there. Really give you an accurate reading then by having it on the bench there. The whole tractor was moving. But I wasn't able to easily put it on the axle and measure. To Didn't have anything to stack it up high enough. The leg on the DTI is too short, but it feels nice like that. Only just nice and loose kind of thing. If things feel nice, they're good. Anyway, mechanics in the old days just used to do everything by feel. So this is how it used to swivel. And now that's how it swivels. It's nice and tight now. It'll do a difference to how the tractor handles on the road as well. If they're just slopping a little bit in there, the wheel slaps a lot, doesn't it? If you got a 1 mil in the pin, you're going to have, I don't know, 8 mil on the tyre. The tyre's going to be doing that quite a bit. So, guy down the road had the bolt, but didn't have one short enough, so got 3 thick washers to put with it, which isn't the best thing, but it'll be better than not having a bolt. I'll torque the one with the 3 washers slightly higher. I'll give it another 10, because it'll twist a little bit between these washers, and the 3 washers will give it lots of room for wriggling and playing, and might come loose easier than one with 1 spring washer on it. So I'll put Loctite on them as well. So I got this set up a little bit better, you know. I put it on the top of the bracket there, just put the box section on the axle. I know I could put thicker bolts in there, but I haven't got lots of washers, I haven't got many of them. Don't know. Gonna go looking for them. So we're on, let's get it as close to 0 as we can get it. 0-ish. Put the bar under it. See what we get. 0 movement. Damn thing's turning. No reason I can't measure it on full lock, I think. So we're starting from 60 then. So we're still on 60. This thing's telling me there's no play at all in it. It's only going up and down because the thing's turning. Well, the Carraro ones had 0.1 mil. I put another 0.1 in it since you've seen it last, and it's nice and loose. It turns on its own now. I took it as still binding a little bit, as being touching, as that the pins were touching on the bush, only just squeezing against the bush. So I thought, well, if I had another 0.1, she'll be all right, and I'm happy with it like that. And if that thing's saying there's no play in it, there's no play in it. It can't be much better than that, can it? So that 0.1 is mostly for having enough room for grease to be between the pins, but she's got more than enough room for grease in there like that. And it's slightly further in than it used to be. We took 0.5 or 0.6 mil out, and then I've added 35 back in, so 0.35 mil. So we're about 0.25 mil tighter on the Kingpin than we used to be on that setting like that. But another 0.1 mil out, and it's like it was when you saw it last. I don't know how to set the New Holland one. I don't have the manual on it, so I'm just doing this by eye and feel. And that 0.1 mil is the Carraro setting, not the New Holland, so I'll take the Carraro on as being accurate enough for this. You can't even hear when there is 0.1 mil gear or in a cog you can feel it, but there's nothing there at all. And yet it's nice and free, so can't get much better than that. The seals, being old, will be stopping it from tightening up as well. See, as it steers, the shaft goes in and out. It's probably so that little gear rides in and out as you steer a little bit. Anyway, I'll get it back together now. I need to go feed the cattle.